Hello and welcome to another video. So recently I actually made a video on HKS 28 discussing about significant influence. And in this video, I thought to have some practice questions so that you guys can understand with the help of examples on what the standard is actually trying to say about significant influence. So I have about 3 questions. We will go over them, all the 3 questions, and I have the answers in red, basically. So I have the answers written in the red. Let's look at the first questions. First question is, Fast Coin Limited is a startup looking for an investment to fund its project, right? So it's a company, it's a startup company, and they are actually looking for some funds to actually expend or to fund their future projects, basically, right? So they actually approached some venture capitalists called good investors for their new blockchain technology product, right? After evaluation, good investors on 15th June 2022 agreed and proposed to purchase 35% share in Fastcoin Limited, right? So the company, the good investors, the venture capitalists actually agreed to purchase 35% in Fastcoin Limited, right? So they agreed to purchase 35%. And then they actually proposed the Fastcoin company that we have agreed to buy 35% stake in your company, right? And now the proposal is actually under consideration by Fastcoin Limited, and they actually approved that proposal. The senior management approved that proposal on 15th July 2022, right? So in the requirements, this question is asking is that whether it is an associate on 2 different dates, right? So in this question also, I'm trying to highlight the importance of dates in financial reporting or financial accounting. So when you are dealing with financial accounting, it's very, very important to pay attention to dates. Right, so there are 2 dates involved there: 15th June 2022 and 15th July 2022. 2 things, right? So on 15th June 2022, the company actually agreed, that the venture capitalist actually agreed that they will actually invest and purchase 35% of equity in the company called Fastcoin. But it was not approved until 15th July 2022, right? So these are 2 different dates. So whether Fastcoin will be an associate of good investors on 15th June 2022. All right, so it's very clear, it's very apparent that the answer in this case is going to be no, because the acquisition is not approved yet. It's not complete. So Fastcoin Limited is not going to be an associate for good investors on 15th June 2022. However, on 15th July 2022, the proposal was approved, right? So it's approved by both the companies. It has a green light, and good investors is going to actually purchase 35% stake in Fastcoin Limited. But now some of the students might think that it is an associate. It is actually an associate of good investors, but the actual answer is no in this case. It's because good investors, as the question stated here, it's a venture capital. And if you look at the definition of HKS 28, the very basic definition, I have also, this should be HKS 28. So I've also mentioned the reference here, HKS 28 para 1A. Right, so if you look at paragraph 1A, it will actually tell you that this is out of scope. The standard is not applied to venture capitalists. It's applied to other entities, but it is not applied to venture capitalists, mutual funds, and some other entities, which you can actually refer to the standard itself. So in both the cases, on both the dates, actually, Fastcoin Limited is not going to be an associate of good investors. So that would be the answer for question 1. Let's look at question 2. I kept question 2 actually very simple, very basic. You won't see such questions on your HKICPA QP exam. It's a very basic question. So P Co purchased 45% ordinary shares of A Co, and the question is A Co an associate of P Co, right? The answer is yes. In this case, the answer is yes. You can find the reference HKS 28 para 6 in para 6. And we actually in my video earlier, I spoke about from paragraph 6 to paragraph 10. I discussed paragraph 6 until paragraph 10 in that video where we are actually talking about significant influence, right? Now that says that if the company has an ownership of 20% or more, then you can presume that the company has significant influence, right? Now you can presume that the company can presume that it has significant influence, and therefore it is going to be an associate. All right, so that is just an answer to question 2. Very simple, nothing complicated here, not happening. There's not much happening here. Now let's look at question 3. So question 3 has few things here, few layers in there. So let's read the question 3 first. Big boy was presented with an opportunity to make a step acquisition of small boy over a period of time, right? So you can highlight like it's a step acquisition, so it's going to be over time, and it also says over a period of time, right? So the question clearly says it's not acquisition in one step as it was in the previous 2 questions, right? So in previous 2 questions, it was just either the company in the first question, company acquired 35%, in the second question, company acquired 45%. In both the cases, it's more than 20%. In first question, of course, there was a trick involved there, so it was not an associate. In second question, I kept the question very simple, and it was an associate. But for question 3, so let's look at below is an expected timeline and facts about investment in a small boy. So right, so big boy is trying to invest in a small boy. So how is it going to work out? So there are a few things. Here. So purchase 10% ordinary shares from market on 1st March 2022. So big boy is going to purchase 10% equity from market on 1st March 2022. Of small boy on 1st March 2022. Then Mr. B, who is a senior management employee who works for Big Boy, is also a member in board of directors at small boy, right? That's another fact. Then fact C, purchase convertible bonds on 30th October 2022, which if exercised will give an additional 5% voting right in small boy, right? So here this is talking about potential voting rights which you have to consider when looking at significant influence, when judging for significant influence. Then fact D, which says Mr. B is involved in day-to-day operations of a small boy and directing the business business operational activity, right? So now if you look at it, the company actually, now again the question here is if is a small boy an associate of Big Boy, right? So that's the whole argument. And to judge that, there are 2 things that you look at it, right? So either the investment is the investment should the percentage of investment should be 20% or more, and the company should have significant influence. And then there are other factors, right? So there are other factors based on which you judge significant influence. In this case, the cumulative ownership is of 15%, which is below 20%, right? So I say here this results into an ownership of 15%, which is below 20%. So therefore, you actually will have to consider other factors to determine if the company has significant influence, if a big boy has significant influence over a small boy. And if you look at it, so if you look at fact B and fact D, they point towards that the company big boy has significant influence over a small boy. How is that true? It's true because Mr. B is actually in a position of he's sitting in the board of directors. Mr. B is sitting in the board of directors of small boy, so he's actually in a very powerful position there. He's in the senior management. In addition to that, Mr. B is actually is also involved in making operational decisions for a small boy. So he's also involved in operational policy making for the company. So both of these facts actually hint towards big boy having significant influence over a small boy. So therefore, if you look at this question holistically speaking, then of course the company small boy is actually an associate of big boy. So of course you can read all these questions and answers in the red by yourselves. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. And if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And comment down below if you would like to see more videos on different topics of accounting and what topics you would like to see videos on. So you can let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video.